Today I'm going to be changing out the rubber gasket around the mirror, or the rubber trim, whatever you want to call it. Is this piece that sits between the door and the mirror, and all disintegrates on the W210. These are different between pre-facelift and facelift, so they're very specific, and you cannot buy these new from the dealer unless you buy the entire mirror assembly. They do not sell it separately. So today we're going to replace them with some aftermarket units. So they are specific left and right, and some of them will vary depending on if you have folding mirrors or not. So I got these for the non-folding US facelift. So if you have the same, I'll post a link in the description. Hopefully you can use it as well. So over the years, they just become brittle and start cracking off. You can see inside the mirror housing does not look really good, and is visible from the inside as well. So first step to replacing this is removing the mirror cap. So it's just a plastic cover and it's held in by a clip. So if you have folding mirrors, fold your mirrors in, but if you're in the US and you don't, then you're gonna have to hold it like this really far deep. You might break the spring if it's brittle, and there's a clip in there that you'll have to release. All right, so the clip we have to release is this part right here. And the way you access it is you have to kind of fold the mirror a little bit, and it is not pleasant. It's gonna feel like you're gonna break something, but that is how you get it off. So here's the mirror. If we fold it really hard and you peek in there, you can just barely see it right at that edge. So with the light, you just see it right there. You gotta stick a flat head and kind of bend it towards the car, and you should be able to pull the cap right off. So the cap will just come right off. Hopefully your glass is not in the way. If it is, just push it out of the way. It'll come right off. Probably a good idea to vacuum this before you remove it any further, because it is pretty dusty and dirty over the years. All right, all that's left now is 3 screws. So we got one at the top right here, and we got 2 at the bottom here and here. This one right here is a little hard to access, so this is the first one we're going to do because it helps if we bend the mirror out of the way. We remove that first, and the other 2 are easy to get to. So we'll remove that one first. All right, once the screws are removed, it will just fall right out. All I got to undo is the 2 electrical connectors. So let's just pinch and pull down. That's all there is to removing the mirror assembly. All right, once you have the mirror off, the next step is to get the rubber piece off. So the only thing holding it now is the electrical connector. You can see it does have a screw there. So it does appear to be a Torx. However, I was able to stick an Allen in there and get it to work. So in case you're short on tools like I was. So with the screw removed, that electrical connector will come out. Now the hard part is to get out of the actual rubber piece. So you can remove the other electrical connectors in there, but that just seems like it's way more effort. And since we're throwing this one away, I'm just gonna cut it right off. So while you're doing this, you might notice a difference between the aftermarket rubber piece and the factory, and that is the fact that the electrical connector kind of has a built-in grommet that goes into that rubber trim. So if you see right here, it's a part of the actual rubber trim. So I'm going to cut around it and keep that little section, but that is one difference between the factory piece and the aftermarket. All right, so here I cut it out. So we'll see, I'm leaving this much behind. I could just squish it up against the new piece and hopefully be okay. We're just going to feed it through this hole and it should come right out. All right, here's the old piece and here's the new one. So pretty similar, tiny bit of a difference. So we're just gonna put that grommet right up against this hole. And now the other challenge is feeding this electrical connector through this hole. It does fit, it's really tight, and it's not gonna be pleasant, but it does go in. I really did not wanna remove all the electrical connectors and feed it that way. This is much easier. So just be careful not to damage anything. All right, got through. Just be careful that you actually oriented the correct way. So just pay attention to these screw holes and you should be good to go. And make sure the actual post for the connector lines up. Our next step is to screw the electrical connector back in, make sure you're oriented right, make sure all the wires are okay. And you should also take this opportunity to clean this housing as much as you can. And also, if you have the Euro aspherical mirrors or other piece of glass you want to swap out, now's the time to do it. It's all nice and accessible. So I'm going to be actually swapping out this piece of glass for the Euro aspherical mirror. Also, be sure to clean the car as well, now that you have the opportunity to. All right, here is the Euro aspherical glass installed. It's actually super easy if you have the mirror off of the car like this. The clip just lines up, everything just works perfectly. This is way hard to do on the car with the mirror cap on. This is a great opportunity to do it, and it's a worthwhile upgrade in my opinion. All right, once you have the car cleaned up, the mirror cleaned up and ready to install, it's just reverse order. It's just those 3 Phillips screws and putting the mirror cap back on. First, I'm gonna start with connecting the electrical connectors. After the electrical is connected, all that's left to do is put the 3 Phillips screws back to the proper holes. The screws are back on. It's best to do the top one first, then the outer one, because that will hold it in place while you have to push it in for the one on the inside right here. So now last step is put the cap on, but before we do that, let's go ahead and test if the electrical works. Everything works, and we can put the cap back on. And the easiest part of this entire thing is putting the cap back on. Just make sure the mirror is not interfering. Slide it on slowly and carefully, and make sure everything lines up, and you're gonna give it one final push. and it should click into place. All right, once you get the mirror cap back in, you are done. And that is a big improvement to what it looked like before. Very worthwhile doing if yours are broken, cracked, or missing. This is pretty close to what the factory one is. It's like 99%, I would say. The biggest difference is you're gonna see while installing, it doesn't have the same grommet for the electrical connector. Otherwise, from the outside, even to someone that knows what these look like new, it's gonna be almost impossible to tell that this is not a factory piece. Now, of course, because these are new, they have been in a shipping container and been folded. They are not perfectly straight, but give them some time in the sun, they should straighten out and look better. See this side, it's kind of right there. It's a little wavy. Hopefully it will improve in some heat. Otherwise, they do feel very nice and soft. It'd probably be a good idea to put some conditioner on them, again, darken up a little bit and hopefully preserve them. Fitment's actually pretty good. You know, it could be a little better here and there, but definitely better than missing. Here are the rubber pieces with a fresh coat of 303 Aerospace Protectant on them. Looking much better, not as gray and chalked out. So definitely use some product, it'll look a lot nicer. Links to the gasket for the facelift US models will be in the description, as well as the aspherical mirrors I'm using. Hope you found the video helpful. Thanks for watching.